Okay, Deandra, so we came here to the racetrack, but now you've got me out in the woods. What's that all about?
That is all about the second criterion in the Green Challenge, emit fewer greenhouse gases.
Okay, and greenhouse gases I think I understand. They're things like carbon dioxide that when we burn fuel we release into the atmosphere. They increase the amount of heat that the Earth retains, and if you do too much of that greenhouse gas heating of the Earth's surface, you do things like melt the polar ice caps, increase the global temperature, and cause all kinds of havoc.
There are a number of gases that are greenhouse gases. So you've got methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, things like that. We're most concerned about carbon dioxide because that's the biggest contributor from transportation.
But race cars can burn E10 and E85, and both of those produce less carbon dioxide per gallon than burning something like diesel. So shouldn't those always win in that category?
And they would come out on top if the only thing we counted was how much greenhouse gas they emitted at the track.
So what else do you count?
So you've heard the phrase well to wheel?
Yep, you just said it.
Well to wheel means that you take into account all the greenhouse gas emissions from the time you first start making the fuel all the way up through the time you use the fuel.
So you have to count CO2 emissions included with producing it, transporting it to the track, and finally using it in the car.
Yeah, for example, if you look at ethanol fuels, you actually have to take into account everything from planting the crop, harvesting the crop, fertilizing the crop, and there's going to be greenhouse gas emissions during each of those processes.
How in the world do you keep track of all that and add it up?
That's a good question. We actually use a model from Argonne National Laboratory called GREET. And the GREET model has gone through each one of these pathways and looked at all the factors that go into greenhouse gas emissions at each step. Now the test. Green Challenge Criterion 2, emit less greenhouse gas. What have you learned?
Emitting less greenhouse gas is important because it contributes directly to global warming, and that's obviously a bad thing.
Yeah, but you knew that before we came to the racetrack. What else have you learned?
Well, I've also learned that in racing, we count how much CO2 we produce all the way from production to transportation to the track to finally burning it in the car.
Outstanding. What do we call that?
Well to wheel.
I think you've got it.